Does this bill have your support once it begins to take form?
Well, no, there's no detail to the bill, and this is fraud being perpetrated against the American people.
Okay. No detail, but he's sure it's fraud. Well, Democratic Representative Brian Higgins is clearly not a fan of what he thinks the GOP's tax proposal will be. Some harsh criticism, obviously, but Representative Higgins also claims that Treasury Secretary Mnuchin's theory of the tax cuts paying for themselves simply does not add up. To Republican Congressman now, fair and balanced, Mike Bishop of Michigan, who serves on the House Ways and Means Committee. Let's put aside the fact that we do not have details, but of what details we have, it's been somehow scored that this will cost $5 trillion. We keep hearing, sir, that the president's saying $4 trillion. It'll bring in $4 and $4.5 trillion, what have you. That still does not pay for the tax cuts. What fiscally conservative part of this do you want our viewers to see here?
Well, first of all, we don't have all the details in place, and it's impossible for us to pass judgment until we do have those details.
Agreed.
I'd also say that this is about growth, putting this economy in a position for growth. And as a fiscal conservative, I would rather have money in your pockets, in the pockets of job providers, than I would the federal government. It's gone upside down over the past years. It's been 31 years since we've had any kind of tax reform. We're long overdue, and all this speculation is all part of the grand scheme to torpedo this before it comes out of the gate, and it's unfair. I challenge these critics. When it comes to this final document that we're going to vote on, I challenge them to vote against it if it does what we think it's going to do, which is to create a substantially improved economy. Is
it encouraging at all? I don't know if you heard the interview with the Democratic Representative Higgins. Is it encouraging at all that he said he's for 20% corporate tax level, a tax rate there? It seemed that he's on the same page, at least, in feeling that that would spur jobs and certainly be helpful to the middle class.
Everyone knows that this will be helpful to their constituents. This is something that all members, regardless of your party affiliation, this is going to come down to politics and not policy. Unfortunately, it's whether or not Nancy Pelosi lets her members vote on this. And if they do, if they're allowed to vote their conscience, I can guarantee you this will be bipartisan and it will be overwhelming.
If they listen to their constituents who, no doubt, would absolutely want a tax cut so that they can put money, as you said, in their pockets to spend as they will. But again, the last time, and it's been decades since we actually had a budget surplus, was under President Clinton, and he had both cut and then hiked tax rates. As you may remember, we're starting to see better growth right now in these first couple of months of President Trump's administration here, and we're still below 3% growth. We know that it's time to try something different, but the government's got to run, and that means it's got to have revenue. Where are you going to get that revenue?
We need to reinvigorate this economy. We need to jumpstart this economy and get involved in the global economy. We have not changed our tax code since 1986. The iPhone wasn't invented yet. It's time that we do that, make our environment here more competitive, bring the money back that's parked overseas, get our job providers ready and willing to invest in their company and to grow their business, to hire people, to pay their workers more. That's how you grow an economy, and that's how you do it from the ground up. And we believe that this plan will do just that.
And finally, Congressman, this 401k issue has a lot of people very concerned. I've had more people call me and say, Liz, what are they going to do to our 401k? The president getting on Marine One to go to Texas, he today said, well, maybe that's a point of negotiation and a compromise of changing people's 401ks. What can they expect there?
Well, first of all, it's a detail that's not been worked out yet. We're still in the process of doing it.
But you've heard what they've said, and then people have expected that maybe there's going to be a much tighter limit on how much people can contribute to their retirement.
But this is, again, part of the plan to try and torpedo this out of the gate before we have a chance to talk about it. The goal of this committee, the Ways and Means Committee, is to create an environment that will allow families to save more, to earn more and save more. That's our goal. We don't have any interest in putting our families in a position that's that will be detrimental to their future and to their family's future.
Yeah, and to the economy, because if they get in trouble in their retirement, they're going to go for help from the government, and that costs money, of course, for all of us. Michigan Congressman Mike Bishop, lovely to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Good luck to all of you guys trying to get this done.